Urgent share, breaking share. I need this video out there. It's epic. It's huge. So never say never. Wow. Donald J. Trump, in his release with one Mark Carney, he went through a lot. He said, that map of Canada, I'm a very artsy person, very artistic. I think that's a beautiful thing, that map of Canada. Well, guess what, everybody? There's a B7 May 16th meeting. This is the business case always preceding the G7. I'm going to be there, and I'm doing a call out for all 51st staters. Post this video. I'm going to present an entire presentation there, just a one-pager in 3 languages, English, French, and Russian. You're all going to get to see that. Post this video. I'm loading a video on YouTube going through all of it. What Donald J. Trump wants, what he demanded of the G7, well, he was going to in 2019, 2020, where all the players walked away. Well, we're going to be there. We're going to be there to go for the 51st state. It has to be done. This business case on what? The 51st B7 G7 meeting. This is the one that sets the business case for the G7 meeting in Alberta, and we'll be there too. But this is for all Eastern Canadians. If you're in Ontario, you're in Quebec, be at Ottawa, 8 a.m. at the National Museum of Canada, Arts Museum. Be there 8 a.m. on the 16th. Ambassador Pete Hoekstra, who was in the room with Donald J. Trump, he's sitting there at the table while Donald J. Trump says never say never to Carney, presents the deal, says this arts program that they're now launching at Canada's Art Museum on May 16th. Yes, next Friday. We have to be there. We have to be there and showing. We have to have signs. I'm going to have flyers. I'm going to be in suit and tie. I need all of you there. If you're from Quebec, Ontario, there's no reason for you not to make it. This is your chance to make your case for Canada, the 51st state, not just any case, the business case. You're going to see my video for the G7 and what Canada, the 51st state, would do for the world, the G7, not only Canada and USA. You're going to see all of it. Trump's vision, what he wants to hear. We're going to present that. Ambassador Pete Hoekstra's Day, May 16th. Now that thing runs 14th to 16th, but Pete Hoekstra is there on May 16th. It's his day. We need to be out there in force. 8 a.m. at the Canada National Museum, Ottawa, Ontario. Again, anyone can make it there from Quebec and Ontario, generally GTA, Montreal, Quebec City. That's not a big drive for all of us to meet centrally there. It gives Eastern Canada on the 51st year, the 51st state business case. Not only for Canada, US, again, for the whole G7, what it would mean for the Arctic, what it would do to end the Russia conflict that we see today. It's major. It's what America wants to see. It's your chance to get out there. Now, after this video, I'm going to post that video. I'm going to load that to YouTube. I'm going to give you the flyer, the advertisement for it. We need everybody from the East. And yes, in June, I'll be back in Alberta. Yes, we'll do the same thing at the G7. But the B7 sets the momentum of all of the business community that actually writes the program for the G7. You can look year after year after year. You can look at Donald J. Trump's last year in COVID, when they all walked away because of COVID. No one would meet. You can see the program he wanted to launch. We're launching that, and we're launching it with Canada, the 51st state, in mind. An absolute. Why is that an absolute today? What was the breaking news Donald J. Trump wanted to show you? Canadians, it's time to wake up. You were fucked right over. Excuse my language. I'm sorry, but we need to say that. Mark Carney, fucked every Canadian over entirely. King Charles Keir Starmer fucked every colonized Canadian and First Persons over just an hour ago. Always get zapped as soon as it's important. We have been absolutely decimated by the United Kingdom. Canadians, without a doubt, Keir Starmer signed an agreement under 10% tariffs remaining, meaning UK will eat 10% tariffs from the United States, but they get a monumentous 20% of the Canadian automotive sector. Keir Starmer has taken, with Donald J. Trump agreement, just an hour ago, 20% of Canada's current automotive sector with the United States. UK has taken that from us. I guess that point where old Mark Carney was already talking about 50%, he must have already known from King Charles III meeting that UK was going to steal 20% of Canada's automotive sector to replace with USA in a swap, because we're nothing but a filthy colony. I can't make this up. It's cemented now. You can read the transcripts. Again, $10 billion of Ontario's $52 billion agreed trade automotives with USA. UK gets 20%. What other countries are going to come forward to take the remainder of Canada's automotive sector that we at least know is half? Because Mark Carney told us that with Donald J. Trump the other day. From 100 to 50% is his starting point negotiation, meaning he already knows Commonwealth countries have a lion's share of what was Canada's market. Traded away. Sold out because UK is such a mighty friend of Canada. No, Canada's a colony of the UK entirely and forever under the Commonwealth. We've been bamboozled, screwed, and any Canadian who wants to go forward as Canada the country, Canada the Commonwealth under the British Empire, you're an idiot. You are a fool, a cuckold, and a lunatic. Your economy in Ontario has just been hammered by none other than Keir Starmer and King Charles III. Sold you out. Do you enjoy the services UK provides you? Do you enjoy paying all the inflation? Do you enjoy them having command of everything you've built to be taken and stripped away from you at any time? All they have to do is make a deal with the United States. And again, everybody, under the conditions of remaining with 10% tariffs, it doesn't just stop there. We've lost our steel industry, our aluminum industry. Right now, we've lost 20% of that too to the UK moving forward. It doesn't matter what deal Canada makes today. Understand this, Canadians. It doesn't matter what deal your Canadian government makes with the United States today. You've lost 20% of your steel, 20% of your aluminum, and 20% of your automotive sector, parts and vehicles, to the United Kingdom. To the United Kingdom. They stole your market share while accepting 10% tariffs remaining. Keir Starmer, King Charles III. The King Charles III who's going to give you your throne speech with Lord of the Treasury Mark Carney. We are slaves to be whipped. I can't make this up. I can't make any of this up. We have to show up in numbers. Ontario and Quebec. I will be there at the National Arts Museum of Canada, Ottawa, Ontario, May 16th. I need you all there. We're going to have flyers for everybody, suit and tie. We're just going to hand out flyers, holding signs, handing out flyers to all those who enter the National Arts Museum. It's all to do with Canada, the 51st state, and moving forward in the G7. Because if this doesn't scream for crying out loud, we are done as a country in the Commonwealth, codified as slave subjects to the British Empire for the betterment of the British Empire. Your industries, Canadians, are sold out to the United Kingdom. That was the big announcement that came today. Donald J. Trump wanted you to see that this is what UK thinks of all of you. This is your King Charles, who will steal, rob, rape you for literally nothing, and you will pay and you will like it. Think about that. You've got to be some kind of daft, dumb-dollared Canadian to go forward as Canada codified the way it is, a slave to the British Empire, subjects of the British Empire, for the betterment of the British Empire. And Carney is doing that entirely. Which other nations are coming forward from the Commonwealth? Oh, there's 105 trade groups, separate countries with the United States of America. I already know from Carney's words out of his mouth at the day before Canada-USA meeting, Donald J. Trump and Mark Carney, where he said at a starting point 50%, which means Commonwealth countries are yet to come forward. Donald J. Trump, day after day, week after week, month after month, is going to keep releasing new trade deals that take percentage of Canada's industries. It's going to keep going. At what point, when this Russia thing comes to a head in OPEC, does USA replace Canada Energy? How long are you going to wait? At what point does Alaska take over? Donald J. Trump released all of that the day before yesterday with Mark Carney. It's all in that speech back and forth, but Canadians with their Oxford blinders on as subjects can't see the legal speak. They can't see past their nose, their Oxford that they were raised in. They can't see the Webster side of the equation, even though explicit numbers were handed out. Just like Donald J. Trump talked about the art and beauty of Canada, the 51st state, with Pete Hoekstra sitting right at the table. And then all of a sudden, like magic, they organize a B7 meeting in Ottawa, Ontario, Canada, at the Capitol, at our National Arts Museum, where Pete Hoekstra is going to be there. And they have a new narrative for the G7 meeting in June, meaning ripping up the old one, presenting a new one. We have to be there. You, the 51st staters, have to be there. We have to be there in great numbers. That's my video. Share, get it out there. Now, folks, I'm pretty ill. I suspect it's COVID. I woke up, couldn't go to work, called in, sick, slept 13 hours. I'm going to go to the store. This happened before. I did get the coronavirus before. And it's like this for days. I get all of my arthritis explodes and my joints go. It's just like the flu, aches and pains, but my arthritis runs rampant on me. I don't get a fever, I don't get diarrhea, I don't get sick, but it goes, and it's devastating. The only way I know to get rid of it is Neocitrin and to sweat it out, because for whatever this is, I don't get a fever, I don't get stomach flu, I don't get that flushing out with diarrhea or regurgitation, the throwing up in the stomach. I don't get any of that. I just deteriorate. So I'm suspect that's what it is. So I'm going to get Neocitrin like what I did last time, but I'm not going to do the wrapping blankets. I'm going to go to the local rec center. I'm going to go sit in a hot tub in a steam room, do all of that, and just sweat, because that's the only way I know to break it. I'm going to be healthy for it. Last time I went through this was after COVID. I never ever did catch COVID during the whole COVID fiasco, and I toured all of Canada. It was actually after it was all said and done and I returned to Alberta that I immediately got sick, and then I couldn't shake it. My body went through this Because again, you don't have fever, you don't have, at least for me, you don't have the stomach flu, you don't have diarrhea. So I found that I downed Neocitrin, and then I wrapped myself in thick blankets, because at that time you still weren't allowed into community centers. Of course, I'm sick. So this time I'm going to do that. I'm going to sit in a hot tub in a sauna for the night and hopefully beat this. But come nor high water, I'm going to be there on the 16th. I already booked it off for work. So stay tuned. I'm going to get into more with my YouTube video. I'm going to get better. At least I recognize it now. It's hard to recognize, to be honest, but it's definitely debilitating, and you get that brain cloud. So I apologize, but at least I know what it is now, and I know what I went through last time and how to beat this. So that's what I'm going to do. Yeah, so I'm going to release that YouTube video later today. Jonathan's going to make an announcement for the space. I did release this to him yesterday. I told him by 4 o'clock today I'd have it for him released publicly. And of course I have this oral one to put on. He's got the video. He didn't release it either. I'm going to release it all to you after I load it onto YouTube so we can save this. But this is really huge, Canadians, and especially for you loyal 51st staters. This country is never ever going to be the same. We've been decimated economically, which is everything. Economically, like never before in US-Canada history. And the first to sell us out and literally fuck us over was Keir Starmer and King Charles III and Mark Carney. If you didn't know, Mark Carney, and I can prove it because he negotiates automotives to half. He starts at 50%. We're now at 30 as of today. We're now negotiating from a point of 30. Donald J. Trump says 15% or none at all, meaning he's got more trade deals to release. Where Canada, you're gone. The automotive sector can completely be gone if you don't make a deal ASAP. And I don't know how we're gonna. USMCA doesn't end for another year. It's to our detriment. Folks, share this video. Get it out to everybody. God bless. You're going to see that later today. I mean, I've slept 2 days straight, massive hours. My body, my joints are completely devastated. I was fighting my arthritis yesterday, and now today it's right back after sleeping 13 hours. I couldn't even get out of bed this morning for my alarm. I slept. I slept like normal hours. There was no issue. I slept 13 and a half. And I'm barely walkable here. I ache everywhere. My joints are out of control here. I got inflammation in multiple joints. So yeah, I'm going to go try and sweat this out. And later tonight, I'm going to get those videos out for everybody and slides. They're beautifully done. They're good. You're going to see that. You're going to see the presentation. Again, I've done it professionally with AI in English, French, and Russian. God bless everybody. Bye now. Share. Get it out there. Bye now.